That was terrible.
That wasn't so
Tell
bad.
me you walk in like, oh, I can knock this dude out.
100%. I was actually gonna start throwing a little bit.
Were you?
Yeah, I just turned my phone off and just like that, I got a call. So perfect timing, you know.
Man,
perfect time. I don't need to answer the call, but I just didn't want to deal with the ring through the whole podcast. So you know,
there is a phenomenon, everybody.
It's crazy
Our man Marcus Maniac McGhee is now part of the iPhone gang. Boop, boop, wah, wah, wah.
I'm not actually that happy about it.
He's very happy.
I like the Android.
He's very happy.
I'm figuring the iPhone out, but
he's just being stupid.
get the Android. Get the Android.
Don't do it ever. No one ever likes it. It doesn't connect to anything. The whole, I mean, we were talking about it. The whole better camera. It's exposed.
Honestly, yeah, it's not. I don't think the camera. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the platforms that use iPhone or they want us to use iPhone, so they make it out to be that way. But anytime I post anything on my, or even just send any type of attachments for videos to anybody, they're like, dude, this is
trash,
terrible. I'm like, I have the best phone on the market. It's the S23.
They said
100%. Yeah.
They said and they lie.
No,
right.
iPhone's good though.
iPhone's a bomb.
Get the iPhone.
Yeah.
15 Pro, baby.
Yeah,
you know.
free Apple Watch.
Yeah. They had to hook
This
it
guy's
up.
over here, new gadgets. Not even that cool.
I don't even know how to use them though, so
that's true.
don't blame me. All right, guys. So today we got one of my training partners coming on. He's been part of our team for about 2 years now. His name's Braydon Akeo. He's gonna come on and talk to us, chat with us, man, and get into some things.
Yeah, let's bring them all. How you doing, man? Good.
Yes, sir. And then get a buy-in, baby.
Yeah,
here we go.
Spin this first.
Here we go. You gotta get a good spin though.
It says if you land on mine blindfolded, that's just a thing for me. So you don't know when I'm gonna start.
100%. Hopefully you get the pint. Let's go for the pint. Let's go for the pint.
Uh-oh.
Let's go for the pint.
Uh-oh.
Let's go for the pint.
Oh! Are you old enough?
Oh man, yeah, he's only 22, right? 22. We'll see what's up. We'll see what you want.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some of your.
We'll talk to you about what you want.
Yeah, maybe some of your training coaches don't want them coming in here. Being like, gave him extra calories. You gave him alcohol.
100%. Nah, he's not on the calorie tip right now. He just got done. Because he just fought last weekend. Yeah, he just fought last
beer a
weekend.
day is good for you.
A beer a day is good for you. And it's not. Well, it's not terrible for you though.
It's
honestly.
not terrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
you got a lot of fighters that can drink on a regular basis. I mean, it's just crazy, right? Anything can be abused, you know. But anything can be regular as well. If you have 1 beer or 2 beers a night, is that really bad for you? Is it? I don't know. Maybe we should talk to somebody about
My
this.
nutritionist told me that 1 beer is good for you, but any more than that, you can have some negative effects. But I heard 1 beer a day is supposed to be good for you, man.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, I didn't think it'd be like necessarily bad if you kind of regulate it, like you said.
There's some benefits to.
Is there?
Yeah.
100%. I would like to know what those benefits are.
I would really like to know.
Yeah.
You can look it up.
But I mean, you have to think about it. It's not like it's just all bad additives, and it depends on what type of beer you're drinking too. Hops,
especially like craft. Like craft, if they actually do some great ingredients.
I'm just saying, I think smoking weed's good for you. You know,
that's true.
And,
that's true.
How much weed you smoke is probably a big part of it. But I think that you should at least have a gram a day. Maybe we'll say smoke a gram a day.
Yeah, if you're like Snoop Dogg and drinking, smoking pounds of it. I don't know if that's
that's probably
a little bit
debatable.
Too much,
Debatable. Maybe we have a problem.
That's true.
That's
true.
Maybe we have a problem.
Yeah.
Honestly, smoking a gram a day is hard enough. Yeah, that's easy enough. So maybe
is it?
Maybe we'll say 3 an eighth a day.
I'm down for breakfast, bro.
That's
100%.
crazy. I wouldn't even know how to function. I'll be honest with you. I'd be cashed. I'd be out
100%
all day.
100%
all day.
Well, actually, he just got done fighting last weekend. Was it last weekend?
Yeah,
last
Saturday.
weekend. Where?
Here. He fought here.
Oh, he fought here.
Mm-hmm.
It was downtown Phoenix at the Celebrity Theater.
Okay, yeah. Then what was going on there? Like some kind of tournament? What was
it was just Rough MMA had an event. Yeah,
Rough MMA.
They're a local pro and amateur circuit league. They're probably the best league in Arizona. I mean, I fought for them 4 times too. So
I remember you talking about them, but that was a while back, right? That was before LFA.
That was before I fought for LFA.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So is that kind of like a stepping stone? Does it go that way, like Rough, LFA, and?
I would say that, I think LFA is a little bit bigger of a promotion, but they're still kind of the same thing. It's regional. They call it everything that if it's a pro fight and it's a regional fight, period, right? And
then,
And then you have major organizations like PFL, One Championship, Bellator, UFC. Those are kind of like, that's when they say you're at the big organizations.
I kind of compare it to like college football, you know. So you have like the big schools and stuff, and then you got other schools, and they all have routes to make it to the NFL and stuff, you know. So it's kind of like that. Like
there's like a conference in the NCAA. So you just got done hitting up the Big Ten championship, right?
I wouldn't necessarily call it like one of those bigger promotions, you know. Like it's a little bit like I would say like a smaller school, you know. Still D1, but not necessarily one of the major conferences. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right. That's cool, man. So what weight we at? So what was
I fight at 145.
145.
Featherweight. Yeah.
Dang.
First time fighting out here in Arizona.
So how many fights did you have during the weekend?
During the week, it was just one fight.
Just one fight. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so you went to the championship. All right.
Yeah. Well, championship fights just it's
I didn't know if it was like okay.
Yeah, it's just you and it's always MMA is always just gonna be you and one other fighter. Unless it's PFL, but PFL even stopped that because trying to fight multiple guys in one night, it's not like other sports where you can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like damage does matter. How the fight went. If I go out there and I spark a guy and he goes to sleep and I didn't get any damage, and then another guy who I'm gonna fight goes out and has a 3-round war with a guy and then has to fight me, who's got a better chance?
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's always it's always just one fight, but you'll be fighting. He's fighting basically the better guys that they can find around. So he ended up fighting for the belt, the 145-pound belt. You know, I definitely give him credit for that too. I was there. I actually got to pop my cherry commentating for his fight.
Hey,
so
all right.
that was a little feather in my cap, you know.
Yeah.
So and it was cool too. It was cool to be at that angle, watching him get down. It was a great fight
That's
too.
Cool.
Yeah, man, you did a good job commentating too, man.
Did you actually watch the video?
Yeah, I watched the video. It was actually pretty good, man.
Heck yeah, I was wondering. I was like, bro, because honestly, I didn't do what I wanted to do. We had talked about it because I had talked to Steve, and we had talked about getting on and doing the commentating with him for the whole show, but we didn't talk for weeks. And then I showed up a little early, but I didn't do any of the stuff at the weigh-in to like talk to the fighters, you know, actually sit there, get their life story, understand how they got here, what they want me to say, if they have sponsors they want me to mention, like all that extra stuff behind what gym they came from, so I feel comfortable speaking about them. I didn't do any of that stuff. I just showed up to the event a little early, and when I got there, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're still gonna have you do something." I was like, "Damn," because when I walked up, me and Courtney were walking up at the same time, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm commentating." I was like, "Great, they're not using me," you know. But it was cool. It's something that I'm interested in. Why not? Why not get as good as you can at everything you do? You know what I'm saying?
100%.
You sounded like a natural though, bro. You did good.
Thank you, man. That makes me feel a little bit better.
A little bit. Yeah.
Coach told me to go back and watch it. I haven't went back. I didn't know what the link was to go watch it, so I have to get that link from you and check it out. Okay. Figure out exactly, you know, find my niche, you know, see if we have anything there, you know.
They might, man.
100%. What Coach always says it too. Like, make sure you're looking at things outside of just fighting, you know, because fighting makes us money. Absolutely. We fight with pride. We were just talking about, we're prize fighters. That's what we fight for, you know. It's great to get things that come along with that, but at the end of the day, we have families that we have to support, lives that we're trying to live, and we're prize fighters, you know. But that being said, we can still utilize. There's a lot of other people that are around us that are not prize fighters that are making livings, you know, off of the fact that we're prize fighters. So it's like, utilize whatever things that they are doing, that if we can use those and do the same things, maybe we have something that supersedes fighting, you know, and we probably should.
Well, I believe that 100%, but I think you obviously had the action plan to do that already, you know, and like this guy watching you do that, I mean, and kind of geared towards that on the outside, and you're conscious about it. So it's honestly, in my opinion, a massive kind of leeway to help, like, you know, young fighters out like that, and your life experiences, you know, and just curious on like to see kind of at least what you see or what, I mean, I guess I kind of want to know, like, bring me in from the beginning of like how you got to the championship. What was, you know, kind of like that build up? Is it kind of like the UFC where you fight, I'm going to say like ranked opponents to get to that championship, and kind of, I mean, since you're not getting money, like he's talking about, like he's a prize fighter. You're not yet.
Yeah, he's a prize fighter as well, though.
Oh, he is. So, he got paid for it.
So this is a pro fight. So pro fights are...
my mistake.
The only difference between it is the league, basically, right? Like, we're all pro fighters who are getting paid, but each league pays differently.
Gotcha.
Right? And so, but again, it's still, like, as far as it's concerned, I have pro fights, he has pro fights. If he has 10 pro fights for Rough, and I have 10 pro fights for any other organization, we're still both 10-0 pros.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just a level of the level of competition obviously goes up in the organizations, but on the opposite side of that is the pay. You know, like these smaller organizations, they're not worldwide. They don't have ESPN. They just don't have all the extra stuff that comes on, all the bells and the whistles that get that next level, you know, NFL type of look, you know. Because I wouldn't necessarily say like we're nowhere near like an NFL yet, you know. I think that MMA is slowly a big growing sport, and I mean to see where it's grown in the last even 5 years is amazing. And I do think that we're going to be competing with those guys at some point. Who knows if we'll be a part of that generation, because you have to think
you're a building block anyway.
We're a building block anyways.
I
And
really feel like the whole landscape is about to change, man, with PFL buying out Bellator, what that's going to happen. There's some big class action lawsuits going on with the UFC, and I really feel like the pay is going to change. I feel like everything's going to change. We just have no clue what's going to happen yet. This coming year, 2024, is going to be a big year if you're really looking at what's happening with all the major promotions, man.
Yeah, I agree completely, especially with these bigger matchups that have been going down and a lot of the movement within these cards. Like we're seeing a lot of that, like, you know, kind of, I don't know, marketing the accessibility to it now, getting a little bit more in depth with like each fighter, you know, talking about their lives. It's gravitating for like, you know, fans myself, hearing these stories, hearing the backgrounds, and being exposed to a little bit more of the lifestyle of what the fighter actually does, how he prepares himself and or herself, and seeing.
Yeah, you better throw that in there. You know.
Yeah, or so I know Amanda Nunes come in here and clean knock my whistle. Yeah, but just kind of seeing that it's more motivating and it's more captivating that way. You know what I'm saying? So you're absolutely right. I felt like this year, 2023 even, was a massive year with, I mean, I've never watched it more. I mean, he was a big cause of that. And even just with our patrons in here, with our relationship, people were, I mean, they're following so much more. They're reading more. They're understanding it more. Like now, like that, every time we talk about it, I get a little bit more exposed, like with you. Like, you know, you being a professional is something that shouldn't be taken lightly. That's a major, major accomplishment.
But at the same time, it's just like, and that's why we understand, right? A lot of people don't understand the fight game. That like most people, even the average Joe, kind of understands a little bit more of like how NFL athletes are structured, right? And the professional levels and all that stuff. Like even the average, but most people don't know how things work in MMA. You know? And it just doesn't, again, you never know until you're into it, you know? So it doesn't bother, it never bothers me, because I had a lot of people, I had a couple people that didn't know that any fight I had before I got in the UFC was they always thought that my first fight in the UFC was like my first pro fight.
Right.
Like I've had a lot of people hit me up and say that, and I'm like, no, that's not, you don't get in the UFC
I was ready.
like with no pro fights, you know, unless you're Jake Paul. Or Logan Paul, unless you're
that's changing the whole game though, this influencer boxing and stuff, you know. It's cool and stuff, but you know, like I see how fighters they don't like it, you know, but these guys made platforms for themselves doing other things and now they want to fight, so it's cool. But this influencer boxing is changing the whole game right now, man. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I can't figure out whether or not it's for the good or the bad yet. The only reason to say that is because it's like one of the quotes that everyone used to say all the time is like, I don't care whether you hate me or you like me, buy tickets, right? You know, it's like the more tickets you buy, and hopefully for me and because of me, the more money I make, you know. So whether or not you want to see me get hurt or whether or not you want to see me win, it's all beneficial to my brand, you know. So it's like, is that how this is? Is all the big fans that don't really care about boxing, that don't really care about, you know, being an athlete or all these different things, even past that on the mental level, don't care about just being the strongest man that they want to be, you know, like certain people gravitate toward MMA for those reasons, you know. Now we're kind of bringing out maybe even the bookworm that never wants to throw a punch at somebody ever, but he's going to watch fights and pay money to be a part of these things and wear shirts and have merchandise and have a favorite gym or favorate team. You know, when you start thinking about
100%, man.
Like
it's about that.
I mean, I definitely think there's a pro and con, because I look at it like, I don't know, let's call it like social media influencers, right? You see some jack dude or some built chick and like, oh, I did it because I took this pill, like you know, or something like that. Like, no, you probably worked your ass off, and like, and then somebody like you know what I'm saying.
That's
and
the part I kind of hate about it, though, right? On the opposite side of it, it's just like it's like there could be certain authenticity to that, though, too, right? Like there's always products and things around, and all these things are beneficial and all that stuff like that. But when it comes to like having to be so much clout, that's why I have a hard time with like this social media stuff. Like I've had. My kids are obviously 14, 13, 10, and 8. So they're like into like social media and all that stuff, right? And I've had some of their friends be like, "Oh, your dad's a YouTuber?" I'm like, "Hold on, hey, hold on, wait, what are you? A YouTuber, dog? I see your dad on TikTok. I'm like, whoa, YouTuber. I don't know about how I feel about that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I get offended and stuff. Like, what? No, I ain't no YouTuber, dog. I did a couple cooking shows.
I feel you, man. I have a hard time with doing that kind of stuff too. You know, like I've had past managements always trying to encourage me to do more social media, more of that. But for me personally, a lot of it just feels corny and stuff. You know, like I can't be doing some of these things that these guys are going out there recording themselves doing. You know, it just 100%. Feels corny to me. Yeah. A lot of it.
That's what somebody mentioned was like it's called influencer boxing, and that stuck with me a little bit more because it made sense to me. I mean, you're absolutely right. One side, they're selling, they're getting more noticed, and you know, you said some average Joe on the computer, he's watching now. But then you have the other side, kind of like your world, where it's blood, sweat, and tears, and it's the struggle, the upbringing, the actual like niche of it, right?
That's what I was gonna say. You said influence boxing, but it'd be like the opposite side. It'd be like MMA influencer, right? Like it's like because we are, especially at the level like. You know, like at this level, even getting into it, I did have people that were like, "Hey, man, we need to get out there and be more active. We need to be doing social media things." And for me, it was like, it's corny, bro. Like, I don't want to be corny. Like, I don't mind getting out there. And honestly, like, I don't want to necessarily be looked up to either. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of corny to me too. It's not that I don't want people to benefit from me and learn and be like, "Oh man, okay, that gives you a little." It's not that I don't want to inspire people, but I don't want people to want to be like me. You know?
Does that make sense? 100%.
And when I mean, again, this is like the other side of me. I want people to be focused on trying to be like Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Characteristics and actions and everything, not having you as like the pinnacle of someone's house.
Not like, oh, Marcus does that, so it's okay. No, like I sin, I mess up all the time, I'm making bad decisions on a regular basis. So I never liked that side of it because I'm like, bro, I don't want to get out here and even be like, you should use this because I use this, or you should do this because I do this. It's a really hard internal battle when you're not trying to utilize it as something that's like petty or that's something that's like shallow, you know?
Exactly.
Like so I had to break that, and even with the kids I've had to like, oh, thank you guys, you know, because again, they're not saying that as like to the kids and to them, they're not like making fun of it. They're like, yo, that's dope. We all want to be YouTubers, yo, and you're a YouTuber, you know, and it's like it's a compliment from them, but at the same time, and from our era, or even from like my upbringing, it's like, bro, like we don't do that, you know. That's not it. That's not the play, you know.
Anybody can make themselves look good from one snapshot to another.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? One little video clip to the next. You can look amazing. It's called the highlight reel. You know, like let's call it what it is.
Yes.
Old school highlight reel. Make yourself look really great. I'm telling you, like I had a sick ass highlight reel. Made me look like I was one of the best running backs in the state. You know what I'm saying? And somebody come watch me, and you know, I had one game where I had 3 fumbles in the first half, and someone's like, "Let's wait a minute." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And so, I mean, I get it. I get that part, but I mean, like on the other side, like how do you, that's why I guess maybe I've been a little bit more gravitated towards understanding the fight world, especially when you got to go through kind of like the pyramid that you got to go through, you know, understanding different levels of being a pro, getting to, you know, that level where you're at right now. And then you're even saying like, yeah, you're getting a lot of publicity. The guy just won a championship. He's probably going to start earning a little bit more in that aspect. You talk about prize fighting, but then now you as a human got to be like, well, where's my passion in this? Where do I take this one highlight reel to the next, you know, to show people at the same time, like, I'm not the one to look up to in this aspect as like, you know, the leader of your house or inspiration on this or that. Watch my struggle, watch my story, listen, read between the lines.
Yes.
And actually understand what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
I just happen to have an octagon that has the lights on me. There's more than that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think we talked about it a few times, like how many times you go out in public and everyone was like, oh, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Always wants to talk about the fighting, but you're like, you know, one day I just like to not be Marcus McGhee, the fighter. Yeah. Like, I like to sit here and talk about there's some shit I'm struggling with that I can't get over right now. 100%. But then you have a young guy in here who sees a lot of that stuff, goes through that kind of progression.
And how old are you, man?
Yeah, I'm 27.
Oh, man, this guy's won championships.
Championships, 27 years old. I didn't even go pro till I was 29, you know? It's crazy because
wait, how long you been? Oh, I'm sorry, please.
Oh, even in MMA though, like, you know what I'm saying, like 27, they were like, oh, that's a low. 27, oh, you got 4 more years. Like, wait, what? 27? I'm 33. I'm like, damn, I hope that's not the case. Like, what?
Yeah,
like,
wait a minute.
You're priming at 27, which I think that you can prime at 27, and I think you'd be prime until you're 40.
I think it's different for everybody, man. It really depends on the miles you have under you, like your upbringing in sports and especially combat sports in general, man. Like some people start way earlier. I started doing it when I was 4 years old, so I feel like I got a lot more miles on my body than a lot of people that are going until they're 40 years old. You know, like. I feel like that's the big difference.
Yeah, and that's what people do say to me all the time, though. Is like I don't have as many fighting miles and even training miles. Like, you know, I did a lot of things, skateboarding. I've been an athlete my whole life, but I have not been fighting and wrestling and those. I've always done so many things, and not until I was 22 did I like actually start taking up MMA. You know.
Yeah.
And taking it serious. I didn't even start taking it serious till, you know, I was 25, you know. So most of my damage or anything has been coming in those fights in that time. So I do feel like that has aided me, and that's why even at 33 years old, I feel like, bro, I feel so young. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I think it's like the evolution of the athlete, though. There's so much more out there for, like, you know, knowledge, information, recovery, like, you know, building up and everything. There was a story about, just throw it out there, a story about a professional baseball player, Garcia, for the Rangers. He's a little bit older. He spent, you know, X amount of years and, you know, obviously coming from his humble beginnings and everything like that, but his progression through his baseball career, he's a little bit older now. But a lot of the older athletes, you take a look, they're peaking late 20s now to the middle 30s. Before it was like, you know, fresh out of college, young, you know, blowing it up, la la la. Well, truthfully, like truth be told, there's grown ass men still who are kind of quieting that narrative now.
Look at Jared Cannonier, he blows me away.
You know what it is, man? I think it's a lot to do with the science of training.
Absolutely.
People are evolving. They're learning how to make their training more efficient. So longevity is increasing. You know, I feel like old school mentality is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Just grind, just work hard. You know, and you do need that. But there's a lot of science to like all the things you're doing, monitoring your recovery, all of that stuff, man, plays a huge difference into like your longevity. How long can you keep doing this? You know, the amount of damage you take, like you not getting into it too early is a good thing. You know, your brain and everything is still fresh. You know, you got a lot of miles and stuff still to go.
100%.
So your career, where are you at right now, record wise? How long you been a professional
Right now,
fighter?
I'm 5-2. I've been a pro since 2018. So
Nice.
about 5 years now as a professional, man.
All right.
I feel like we're close to making it to one of the bigger promotions, man. It was cool to be in the gym with this guy when he was fighting for Rough, and then see him get the call to the UFC and just be killing it, tearing shit up over there, man. So I know that I just keep sticking to the process and stuff. It's gonna come. I had one big fight with Bellator a few years ago, and I was kind of in a rush in the beginning of my career to get there. You know, I feel like now I've kind of settled in. I know it's gonna happen when the time's right.
Yeah. So see, you can tell with him the growth and maturity with exposure, having the right people around him. That also creates longevity as well.
Huge.
Just rushing into something, you know, just because you're young, you have the capabilities, you have the talent, for sure. But there's also a back end to everything. That's why, in my opinion, still more experienced athletes still have an edge than younger, you know, maybe faster, stronger, or whatever. Stronger, I think, you know, as you like the muscles you're developing now, obviously, but that's a whole nother conversation. But just maturity in the game provides and gives you some kind of different perspective, right? It has to, in my opinion.
I definitely think so too. You know, I definitely think that aids to it. But again, like you were saying, the biggest part is like the team around you too.
Yep.
You know, and that's one of the biggest. Like that's one of I think changed everything for me. Right? Like I was gonna not fight. I thought it was over. This one of my favorite songs right now is by Zante, and it's like I thought it was over. Got had other plans, right? And it's like, bro, it really feels that way.
Actually
like
a sick song.
It really is.
So sick. Yep.
And I all these things kept happening to me, right? Cut my arm, had 9 months out, got in a car accident, beat up. All these things kept happening to me. And I was like, at a certain point, it's like, bro, I'm getting older. When am I going to be fighting? You know what I'm saying? Like, when am I going to actually do this, you know? And I had already switched to the lab, but things were still going terrible. And I really wasn't being as active as I wanted to be at the lab. And then at some point, you know, things started to switch and I just started focusing on our team, you know, focusing on being there like Coach asks, be there every day if I can. If I can't, he'll understand, but be there every day if I can, you know? And then be there for the team anytime they need us. If they need rounds, or if they need people that need them to wrestle them for their fights, anything that these guys need, be there for you. Surround yourself in that, involve yourself in it. And through doing that, it's gonna bring you back into it. It's gonna, and that's what happened to me. You know, the team poured into me, and I poured into the team. You know?
Exactly.
And through that is what like I really attribute a lot of the growth that I've had. You know, and I couldn't do it without them. And you know, whether it's raw talent there or any of these things like that, that having people around you that are gonna push you when you don't want to push yourself. What you need to push yourself. This is one of those sports where you can't push yourself. If you're not pushing yourself, it's a problem, right? But when you push yourself and those around you push you, it's a whole different vibe. You know, it's a whole different vibe. You know, and so that's what really got you to move from Hawaii out here? What made you make that decision?
Yeah, man, I really felt like I needed a change. I lost my first fight with Bellator. COVID kind of shut everything down. Training situation wasn't ideal in Hawaii, and I really felt like I wasn't motivated at home. You know, like I felt like my career needed a rebirth, and training just wasn't ideal. I'm in Hawaii. We got good training partners, good coaches, but I'm going here for one thing, going there for the other thing. The amount of training partners and sparring partners that we have is very limited. So I felt like I needed to make a move if I really wanted to pursue this fighting thing, you know. I felt like I had a 2-year layoff. In that time, I started some businesses. I started making some money, and it just wasn't satisfying enough for me. You know, it wasn't gratifying. Like I knew that I could always come back to this stuff later. So I decided to put all that things on hold, and we figured out a way to get over here to Phoenix. I wasn't sure exactly what gym I wanted to move to. I came out here, checked out a few gyms. I went to Vegas, and John Crouch actually reached out to me, told me to come check out the gym and stuff. And man, the feeling and the culture at the lab is just something different. Like I knew right away that was probably the gym I was going to go to. You know, I checked out a few other gyms, but man, I really felt like the lab was the place to be. Just being around guys like you, man, like you're one of the best at it. You said it yourself, just helping the team and stuff, you know, like there's not many gyms that you can walk into and have that kind of welcoming environment where they're going to help you and stuff, you know? So I really felt like this is where I needed to be if I wanted to pursue this MMA thing, you know?
Heck yeah. And it's been great having you part of the team, honestly. You know, like I definitely feel like you bring a great vibe to the team, and adding to that, you know, culture, like you, Jose, all those guys, you know, like I think it's just like, again, all of us pouring into each other.
Hell yeah.
So it's awesome. It's awesome for me too to see when guys come in, because it was similar to me. Like I was training, and I love my old coach. My first real coach his name's Aaron Favor. I still think he's one of the greatest coaches. You know, he's not coaching as much right now. He's not really coaching right now. His sons are in college. He's working. Got to support family and everything. But I always thought he was one of the greater coaches. But we had our own gym out here for a while in a garage that we all.
Oh, yeah.
He had mats, extra stuff. We literally rented out a garage and started trying to have. We had like 4 or 5 training partners. Maybe
That's
from
tight.
the old days. Some of the guys that used to train with him. We called it the dog pound. You know, and it was like we were training every day and trying our best, but it was a long way from my house anyways. It was just like all these things, you know what I'm saying? It was like we were all really willing to work with each other, and me and Talon came to the lab together actually, because we were at LA Boxing, UFC gym, and then we were over at Dog Pound, and that's what we were doing. Me, Casey Hanley, Talon, there wasn't that many guys, and we were just grinding, still trying to take fights, you know, still doing amateur fights. And once I had met John at one of my fights. I was fighting, and Juwan Lee was fighting on that same card. There's only 4 fights on it. It was me, Talon, Juwan, and then somebody else that was fighting. So there's only those 4 fights. The rest of the card wasn't even happening, right? But I had sold so many tickets that they still let not just me, a couple of other guys sold tickets too. Juwan sold some tickets. We had enough of a crowd for them to let the fights go down, basically, right? And so yeah, I just remember crowd standing there, and I'm getting ready to go out and fight this guy, and I'm like banging the wall, but not like crazy hard, just like feeling the thud on my hand, And he was just sitting there looking at me, like shaking his head like this. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go check the lab out, after this,
That's cool.
It was just a vibe, and I knew we were having issues with our gym, trying to keep it open. I was like, man, and I went over and saw Crouch and came in the gym and just felt the vibe and was like, man, this is where I'm at.
What year was that?
That was 20, I would say 2015. That'd be 2015 probably, I would say. Yeah, maybe even a little earlier, maybe 2014, maybe even 2014 when I first got over there, something like that. Because it was at the old lab when I first got over there. But then that's when everything started happening. That's when I ended up in the accident that cut all the tendons in my arm. That's when I got in my car accident. That's when we had all these things that were happening. So for 3 years, I didn't fight. I just was training as much as I could, but I was also working 60 hours a week, and then I was driving all over the state. So that was even harder because now I'm going to Flagstaff, coming down from Flagstaff, going to Tucson, going back up to Deer Valley just before I go, to do all these deliveries and stuff. And that's what made it harder. But then eventually it was like, again, I was like, bro, I just need to be there. I need to make this move and be there. And then once the lab moved over to one of the things that really amped me up is once we made the move, I was actually helping because I had just started coming back, like, man, I'm going to do this. And so I was helping around that gym, get the new gym built up. And once we got it done, it was a Saturday and it was Spartan Saturday, and coach gave me and Moses the first round in that new gym.
Oh, that's sick.
And I was
cool. The one we're at now?
The one we're at now. And if it was the first Saturday gym MMA round, basically. And I took that to heart, bro. I was like, I'm doing the first MMA round in this gym right now.
That's sick.
I was like, and I with Mo too. Mo's really good too, so I was like, there's a reason for that, and it had me up, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep going. And there's just small things like that though. Like coach didn't know he did that for me, but like it wasn't like I had a lot of drive, but it was like small things like that like get you to pull yourself back and go, it's just work. Mm-hmm. It's just work, win, work, lose, work. We're workaholics, and you gotta be kind of willing to work that way, and then be smart about that work as well. And I think that's like you said, we're getting better about knowing what's smart work, and where to pour our energy in the most efficiently, because we can all work and get things done, but it's like, how efficient are you getting those things done?
Mm-hmm.
For sure, man.
I mean, it sounds pretty efficient from this guy taking, because I know the Island boys, they like to fight over there. Yeah. You guys are scrappers over there. I met a couple that lived there. A couple of them played baseball. A couple of them played football, and they always wanted to fight. And like you coming here to Phoenix, trying to find the gym, and then now 7 fights later, winning a championship. It's pretty efficient, man. You guys got you can tell you got some killers in there. That's a short amount of time, in my opinion, to make that many moves, to excel yourself that much.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't all easy, man. I first moved here, I had some road bumps, took another loss as soon as I moved here. It's probably the most embarrassing performance of my life, but the team just kept building me up, and like this 2 years here, I've grown a lot as a fighter, but like all the things he said, man, I've grown a lot as like a teammate and a person as well, I feel like you said, man, that just pours all into our team and why we're getting the results that we're getting,
Mm-hmm. So with yours, when you guys are training, you're going through everything, like, kind of like stacking these guys up, or like the ones that are helping you prepare for your fight. Walk me through some of that, like sparring kind of, I guess, programming that you're going through. Are you fighting Marcus sparring Marcus on a? Yeah,
Marcus has actually been a big help with me for my last 2 camps. He helped me a lot with this past one, but the one before that, he was doing a lot of my rounds with me, man. We were getting some really good work. Like, we got a bantamweight army over there. Like, the 135ers there, 135ers there are just crazy good. We got bantamweights in every promotion, And I feel like us 45ers are trying to set the tone.
You guys are about to.
Yeah,
you
man.
guys are,
Yeah.
I really believe that our 40, like everyone's talking about the 35ers right now, but we're
about to break out, man. I feel like we all been pushing each other and like seeing the 35ers do their thing. You know, it's like a healthy competition. Like we got a bunch of killers at 145 too that about to break out
100%.
real soon, man.
All right.
And that's literally what I was gonna say too, man. Like there's a lot of 45ers out there that are at our gym right now, and we've got 14 now, something. We have a pretty good amount of. Maybe I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
But 10, you have 10, at least 10. Right?
At least 10, man, and all of them are just killers, man.
100%.
Like
Yeah, putting
they all
the
got
public on
different
notice.
styles, but
Yeah,
they're all
like
killers.
notice.
Ivan, Moses, Jose. It's like oh my goodness, what is his name? Anthony Wright too? If he decides to start fighting again, he
man.
goes to 45 as well.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
bro, like that. You guys got
Solid lineup, huh?
dude.
Yeah. There's some killers, man.
100%. But going back to you were talking about the loss, I always like to bring those type of things up too, and not in a negative way, right? Because that's the type of stuff that people don't realize. Like it's always like we were just talking about, everything's all sunshine and butterflies, but it's not, right? This stuff's hard, and you're gonna go through it, and you're gonna go through it every day. You're gonna go through every emotion, right? Like
Hell
Mitchie
yeah,
said.
fight game is crazy, man. It's a crazy on your emotions, crazy on everything that nobody really realizes, you know.
But I do think, again, having the team, right? Like I forgot about that Fury fight until you just brought it up right now, right? Like we get to forget about it for you, you know, and just go right after it again. Like, bro, it doesn't even. Broderick, he just took his first loss as an amateur, right? And he was beating himself up about it. I was like, bro, like this is the times where the team is important to make you forget about that and go, hey, bro, that was just, we still got training. If you won the fight, you got training on Monday. You know what I'm saying? If you lost the fight, you got training on Monday. We're nowhere near where we're trying to get to. So I think the team aspect does help, especially in those type of scenarios, right? You can lean on them in those moments because it's like, even if we're the better fighter, it doesn't mean we're always going to win, you know? And people can't understand that. Like, because in a lot of the other sports, they're like, oh no, you know, on paper, what happens is going to happen, essentially. There's only every once in a while where someone has a Hail Mary, right? But in fighting, there's a Hail Mary chance every single fight.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter how good the other guy is. If you throw that right hand, he slips into that right hand, it's over for him. You know, you throw that high kick, he slips over, it's over for him. Same thing on our side, right? You know, anything can happen with just miscalculations, and there's way more chances of Hail Marys. So we go through a little bit higher highs and a little bit lower lows because of that, I feel like, you know. And having a team right there, man, it just helps you get over that type of stuff, because same thing. I lost it here in Phoenix, and the crowd went quiet. You hear the commentary saying on the video, like, the crowd is completely quiet out here. I had like maybe 100 people at that fight for me, you know, and took my first fight, lost against a really good guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was stepping up. I was taking a chance, you know, going up and fighting this guy who's 6-1. I'm 4-0, you know, the guy's supposed to be a killer from Brazil, you know, and he was really good, you know. And again, hats off to him, but you know, I made certain miscalculations and I paid for him, you know. And I was like, it was frustrating to go through that moment, you know what I'm saying? But like, I really felt like Ben was back there with me. I was watching him pay attention to me. I let a couple tears shed, and I was just like, bro, this is what it's about. You know, I got my whole team here. They're with me anyways. I'm going back to training. This does not change anything, right? This just changes what I have to do on Monday.
Yeah.
You know? And really, we fought that Friday, so it was cool because I went back to training and I trained that same position I lost in that Saturday. That for sparring, I literally had every single person put me in.
We can tell you made the adjustments for that, man. Like, people get on your back. It's not, you don't let anybody finish anymore. You can definitely tell you've been putting in the work in those positions, man.
Yep.
And like you said, like, you try to forget about those losses, but me, man, like, that's motivation. You know, like, I go into training camp with a chip on my shoulder, even though I'm on a win streak right now. Like, I got that coin when you first fight for the lab.
Yeah.
After I lost. So it's like it's a reminder to me, like you don't ever want to feel like that again. And I have it right by my bed, you know. It says 1% better. It's like motivation, because you don't ever want to feel like that again. So motivation to get up and train, you know. Like, I don't ever forget about that stuff. Like,
I love that, bro. I honestly, I love it. Like, not the whole lot, like the fact about the loss is part of it, but it's kind of like, yeah, like even on that side of it, 1% better is like, you can always do 1% better, especially coming back off of a loss on that, because that coin matters a lot to me. I was actually looking through some stuff for some earrings for my son, because I lost his earrings after his game the other night. And I go in the cabinet and I find my coin, and I'm like, 1% better, and that coin just gives me amp. But in your situation, I could understand how that even be more like, oh yeah, I remember the feeling of getting that after taking a loss at this new team that I just came to, because that's what he does. So I don't know if we've ever talked about this.
No.
the first time you fight under the MMA banner, you know, after when coach says it's go time, you've been training here, we're gonna have you fight for us. Right after that fight, when you come back, win, lose or draw, there's a coin that you get that shows that you were on the lab team. Like this is, if someone's ever, oh yeah, I used to train there, I was on the fight team and I fought for them, I'd be like, show me your coin, right? If they can't show me their coin, it's debatable.
That's
right?
brilliant, though.
And it's kind of cool because it's like it's not even like a crazy expensive coin or nothing crazy. It's just like a small reminder that
symbolism, yeah,
all the work that we've put in together to be able to do this. You know, so it's kind of cool to hear your aspect on like.
Of course, you got to get over that emotionally and stuff, so I can talk about it without feeling emotional about it. But when I go into camp and stuff, you know, it's that motivation to put in that extra work because you don't ever want to feel like that again. You know.
100%.
We'll capitalize on losses, build off of wins. You guys are on the road. I love it.
100%.
So we're putting the public notice out there. The public service announcement, red alert. We got 145s coming out. We got this guy over here, kind of like leading some charge here, coming off a championship win.
100%.
What's next?
Man, we just got to keep getting better. I think probably gonna be done fighting till next year. I feel like some big things are gonna be coming. If not, we're just gonna keep grinding, keep chipping away at these wins. Can't exactly tell you what's next, man. I know big things are coming real soon. I'm gonna enjoy the holidays. You know, I didn't get to do that so much last year, so enjoy Thanksgiving, enjoy Christmas.
Nice. Beautiful.
And then I'll see what's going on early next year.
Yeah, good for you. That's a good thing to do. So, but is it going to be like a title defense? Does that happen in that type of league?
We'll see what happens, man. That's definitely an option. Okay. So we'll see what other opportunities come up. If not, then most likely be defending my belt.
Okay.
Because February they do have rough fights, so I know I'll be commentating for those. I wouldn't mind commentating for my boy to win it again and, you know, retain that belt. But yeah, they will have February ones, so there's a possibility out there too that might set up and fit your time schedule pretty well as well.
So he can make a bunch of different moves. So I mean, forgive me. I mean, you don't necessarily have to.
He can move all around.
Okay, so he can either defend it, he can move up, or go somewhere. Okay.
Well, the whole thing with rough in particular is like usually they don't sign fighters, right? So it's like they're not going to sign us for. We have one contract, one fight that night, and then we have nothing.
Gotcha.
LFA and different companies sometimes will sign you as a fighter, and you have a contract to fight for them 4 times, right?
Gotcha.
And then you have to get through that contract for you to go fight with other organizations and everything. One thing that's great about rough is you have that, even as a champion, you have that flexibility. Even as a champ, he could literally go fight wherever he wants, any opportunity that comes up, or he can just keep going with rough as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, man, like before I signed this fight, I was supposed to fight. I got offered a fight at PFL. I was supposed to fight in Madison Square Garden. So I really feel like that's on the table still. The guy I just beat already has a win in PFL. So I think that was a good win to have over them. I know I'm on their radar. We're kind of hoping, we know they got PFL Challenger going on in the beginning of next year. So that's something I'm hoping to get on. Right. If not, then probably be defending that belt.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, be on the lookout, everybody. We got, follow him. I'm going to see what's up.
Yeah, so you want to plug any of your sponsors or any of the businesses that you've been creating on the outside, anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, man, I had a bunch of sponsors help me out this past camp. AZ Hawaiian Garlic Shrimp. They pop up at all the food trucks and stuff. You gotta go give them a follow, check them out, see what they're gonna be. Mitchell Chiropractic, they've been helping me a lot, man. My boy Ernie at Recovery. I got a bunch of other companies that's been helping me, but those are the main ones, man.
All right. Okay. Beautiful.
And Recovery, I've been trying to I want to have him on too, because he's another great one out here.
Nice.
One of our buddies that does a lot of tissue work and everything. One of the best in the game. So, and then you want to plug your Instagram or any of your social media?
Give me a follow at b.akeo_MMA on Instagram, man.
Heck yeah. And then Maniac McGhee on all platforms, and you'll find me.
Yeah. I'm at Brett Anthony M. Appreciate you guys.
Hell yeah.
Man. Yeah, that flow, that was good.
That was a good one, man. This guy's great. Take that at one chug. Chug.
I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it. Oh, let's go. Let's go.